To which animal family does a cheetal belong? Deer. The cheetal, also known as the spotted deer or axis deer, is a deer species native to the Indian subcontinent. It is characterized by its distinctive white spots on a reddish-brown coat and is a common sight in Indian forests. Who was the first woman to serve as Prime Minister of Israel, taking office in 1969? Golda Meir. Golda Meir served as the fourth Prime Minister of Israel from 1969 to 1974, making her the first and only woman to hold the position. She was a prominent figure in the early years of Israeli statehood and played a crucial role during the Yom Kippur War. Freetown is the capital of which African country? Sierra Leone. Freetown is the capital and largest city of Sierra Leone, a country located on the southwest coast of West Africa. It is a major port city on the Atlantic Ocean and serves as the nation's economic and political center. Russian physiologist Ivan Pavlov was known for his experiments on which animals? Dogs. Ivan Pavlov, a Russian physiologist, is renowned for his work on classical conditioning using dogs. He demonstrated how dogs could be conditioned to salivate at the sound of a bell, a phenomenon known as Pavlovian conditioning. This research significantly influenced the study of behaviorism and learning. Which British monarch died in October 1760? King George II. King George II, the last British monarch born outside Great Britain, reigned from 1727 until his death in 1760. His reign saw the further development of parliamentary government and significant colonial expansion, particularly during the 7 Years' War. In nature, what are spring and nap? Tides. Spring tides occur when the sun, moon, and earth are aligned, resulting in the largest tidal range. Nap tides, conversely, occur when the sun and moon are at right angles to the earth, leading to the smallest tidal range. Both are caused by the gravitational forces of the moon and the sun on Earth's oceans. During which month of 1914 did the First World War begin? July. The First World War officially began in July 1914 following the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand and a series of escalating diplomatic tensions and declarations of war among European powers. Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia on July 28, marking the commencement of the conflict. In which year was the maximum speed limit of 70 miles per hour introduced in the UK? 1965. The 70 miles per hour speed limit was introduced on motorways in the UK in 1965, following a temporary 1964 limit of 50 miles per hour. This measure was implemented to improve road safety and standardize regulations across the growing motorway network. What was the name of the speech delivered by Martin Luther King Jr. in Washington, D.C. in August 1963? I Have a Dream. Martin Luther King Jr.'s I Have a Dream speech was delivered on August 28, 1963, during the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom. This iconic address became a defining moment of the civil rights movement, advocating for racial equality and an end to discrimination in the United States. Phobophobia is the irrational fear of developing what? A phobia. Phobophobia is a specific phobia characterized by an intense and irrational fear of developing a phobia itself. Individuals with phobophobia often experience anxiety about experiencing phobic symptoms or losing control in potentially fear-inducing situations. Mount Tedi is a volcanic peak in which group of islands? Canary Islands. Mount Tedi is a dormant volcano on Tenerife, the largest of the Canary Islands, an autonomous community of Spain. It is the highest peak in Spain and the highest point in the Atlantic Ocean, making it a significant geological landmark. If a creature is abranchiate, what does it not have? Gills. In zoology, an abranchiate creature is one that lacks gills or other specialized respiratory organs. This term is used to classify organisms based on their physiological adaptations for gas exchange, indicating they respire through other means like their skin or lungs. The kosher massacre took place in which African country in 2000? Egypt. The kosher massacre, also known as the El Kosher incident, was a series of sectarian clashes that occurred in January 2000 in the village of El Kosher, Egypt. The violence primarily involved Coptic Christians and Muslims, leading to numerous deaths and highlighting tensions between religious communities in the region. The parietal lobe and temporal lobe are part of which organ of the body? Brain. The brain is divided into several lobes, each responsible for distinct functions. The parietal lobe processes sensory information, while the temporal lobe is primarily involved in auditory perception, memory, and speech. How many white stripes are there on the national flag of Greece? 4. The national flag of Greece, adopted in 1822, features 9 horizontal stripes alternating blue and white. The white stripes symbolize purity and represent the 9 syllables of the national motto, Eleftheria I Thanatos, freedom or death. Poor man's weather glass is another name for which plant, whose flowers only open when the sun shines? Scarlet Pimpernel. The scarlet pimpernel, Anagallis urvessus, earned its nickname, poor man's weather glass, due to its flowers' sensitivity to sunlight. They typically close under cloudy conditions or prior to rain, opening fully only when the sun is bright. In which U.S. city was Senator Robert F. Kennedy assassinated in June 1968? Los Angeles. Senator Robert F. Kennedy, a prominent American politician, was assassinated on June 5, 1968, at the Ambassador Hotel in Los Angeles. This tragic event occurred shortly after he won the California Democratic presidential primary, significantly impacting the political landscape of the United States. Who commanded the Confederate Army of Northern Virginia during the American Civil War? General Robert E. Lee. General Robert E. Lee was a revered military commander who led the Confederate Army of Northern Virginia during the American Civil War, 1861 to 1865. Despite being offered command of the Union forces, he chose to serve his home state, becoming a central figure of the Confederacy. Which London University was founded in 1837 as the Government School of Design? Royal College of Art. The Royal College of Art, a prestigious postgraduate art and design university in London, was established in 1837 as the Government School of Design. It played a pivotal role in promoting art education and industrial design in Britain. The Mount in Shrewsbury, Shropshire, was the birthplace of which 19th-century naturalist? Charles Darwin. Charles Darwin, the renowned 19th-century English naturalist and biologist, was born on February 12, 1809, at the Mount in Shrewsbury, Shropshire. His seminal work, On the Origin of Species, introduced the theory of evolution by natural selection, profoundly reshaping scientific understanding of life. The Beehive is the common name of the executive wing of the parliamentary building in which country? New Zealand. The Beehive is the distinctive executive wing of the New Zealand Parliament buildings located in Wellington. It houses the offices of the Prime Minister and Cabinet Ministers, serving as a crucial administrative centre for the government. Which modern-day country was known as the Khmer Republic between 1970 and 1975? Cambodia. Cambodia was officially known as the Khmer Republic from 1970 to 1975, following a coup that overthrew the Kingdom of Cambodia. This period was marked by civil war and significant political instability, leading to the rise of the Khmer Rouge. The wine Retsina is native to which European country? Greece. Retsina is a traditional Greek white or rosé resined wine, which has been produced for at least 2000 years. Its unique flavor comes from the addition of Aleppo pine resin during fermentation, historically used as a preservative. Who became British Prime Minister in June 2007? Gordon Brown. Gordon Brown succeeded Tony Blair as Prime Minister of the United Kingdom and leader of the Labour Party in June 2007. He served in the role until May 2010, overseeing the early stages of the global financial crisis. The Naga viper is what type of foodstuff? Chili pepper. The Naga viper is an extremely hot chili pepper, once considered one of the world's hottest. It is a hybrid of 3 other chili varieties and is known for its intense pungency, often measured on the Scoville scale. Eid al-Fitr is a Muslim holiday which marks the end of what? Ramadan. Eid al-Fitr, meaning festival of breaking the fast, is an important religious holiday celebrated by Muslims worldwide. It marks the conclusion of Ramadan, the Islamic holy month of fasting from dawn till dusk. Which historic figure was reputed to have said, "The die is cast," as they stood at the edge of the Rubicon River? Julius Caesar. Julius Caesar famously uttered, "Alia iacta est," the die is cast, upon crossing the Rubicon River in 49 BC, defying the Roman Senate's orders. This act initiated a civil war against Pompey and marked a pivotal moment in Roman history. Gephyrophobia is the abnormal fear of which type of structures? Bridges. Gephyrophobia is a specific phobia characterized by an irrational and intense fear of bridges. Like other specific phobias, it can cause significant distress and avoidance behaviors, often requiring therapeutic intervention. A sheep's head is what type of creature? Fish. A sheep's head refers to several species of fish, most notably Archosaurus probaticephalus found along the Atlantic coast of North America. They are known for their distinctive human-like teeth, which they use to crush the shells of their prey. In Greek mythology, who was the king of Corinth, condemned to eternal punishment for deceitfulness to push a heavy rock up a steep hill which would always roll down again? Sisyphus. Sisyphus was a cunning king in Greek mythology who was punished by Zeus for his trickery by being forced to roll an immense boulder up a hill, only for it to roll down every time it neared the top, ensuring eternal futility. His story is often seen as a metaphor for a task that is laborious and futile. What is the capital of Belarus? Minsk. Minsk is the capital and largest city of Belarus, located on the Svislach and Nyamiha rivers. It is a major political, economic, scientific, and cultural center for the country. What does the Latin phrase, ubi fumus ibi ignis translate to in English? Where there's smoke, there's fire. The Latin phrase, ubi fumus ibi ignis directly translates to, where there is smoke, there is fire. This proverb suggests that if there are signs or rumors of something, there is likely some truth or basis to them, even if the full extent is not yet known. In which English palace was British politician Winston Churchill born? Blenheim Palace. Winston Churchill, a pivotal figure in 20th century British politics and two-time Prime Minister, was born at Blenheim Palace in Oxfordshire, England. This historic stately home is also the only non-royal, non-episcopal country house in England to hold the title of palace. Who wrote the 1884 novel, The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn? Mark Twain. The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, published in 1884, is a classic American novel written by Mark Twain, the pen name of Samuel Clemens. Often regarded as one of the great American novels, it explores themes of racism, freedom, and civilization along the Mississippi River. The ptarmigan belongs to which bird family? Grouse. Ptarmigans are a genus of birds in the grouse family, Tetravoonidae, known for their ability to change plumage color seasonally. These birds are well adapted to cold, Arctic, and subarctic environments, using their camouflage for protection against predators. A cartomaniac is a collector of what? Maps. A cartomaniac is a term used to describe a person with an obsessive passion for collecting maps. This hobby often involves acquiring historical, thematic, or regional maps, reflecting an interest in cartography and geography. Juliana was the queen of which European country between 1948 and 1980? Netherlands. Queen Juliana reigned during a significant post-World War II period for the Netherlands, from 1948 to 1980. Her reign oversaw the nation's decolonization, reconstruction, and its increasing integration into European institutions. Edema is the technical term for which medical condition? Dropsy. Edema, or edema, refers to the swelling caused by excess fluid trapped in your body's tissues. It is a common symptom of various underlying medical conditions, including heart failure, kidney disease, and liver disease. Composer Joseph Maurice Ravel was born in which country? France. Joseph Maurice Ravel was a renowned French composer, celebrated for his masterly orchestration and elegant, precise style. He is one of the most significant figures in classical music from the early 20th century, famous for works like Bolero and Daphnis et Chloe. Which city has the largest port in Europe? Rotterdam. The port of Rotterdam in the Netherlands is Europe's largest port, playing a crucial role in international trade and logistics. Its strategic location at the mouth of the Rhine-Meuse-Scheldt Delta makes it a vital gateway for goods entering and leaving the European continent. Pyrosis is the medical term for which common complaint? Heartburn. Pyrosis is the medical term for heartburn, a burning sensation felt in the chest, usually behind the breastbone. It is caused by stomach acid regurgitating into the esophagus, often a symptom of gastroesophageal reflux disease, GERD. Hirchi is the hair on which part of the body? Armpit, axilla. Hirchi refers to the hair found in the axilla, commonly known as the armpit. This type of hair typically develops during puberty and is a secondary sexual characteristic, with its growth influenced by androgen hormones. The Athabasca oil sands are large deposits of heavy crude oil located in which country? Canada. The Athabasca oil sands are vast deposits of bitumen, a form of heavy crude oil, located in northeastern Alberta, Canada. They represent one of the largest proven crude oil reserves in the world, making Canada a significant global energy producer. Who wrote the 1952 book, The Borrowers? Mary Norton. The Borrowers is a classic children's fantasy novel published in 1952, written by the English author Mary Norton. The book explores the adventures of a family of tiny people who live secretly beneath the floorboards of an old country house, borrowing items from the human inhabitants. The curfew tolls the knell of parting day is the first line of which poem? Elegy written in a country churchyard. Elegy written in a country churchyard is a seminal poem by Thomas Gray, first published in 1751. This famous opening line sets the melancholic and contemplative tone of the poem, which meditates on themes of death, memory, and the unfulfilled potential of ordinary lives. Former British Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher was Member of Parliament for which London borough? Finchley. Margaret Thatcher, a pivotal figure in British political history, served as the Member of Parliament for Finchley from 1959 to 1992. She later became Prime Minister, leading the Conservative Party from 1979 to 1990, making her Britain's longest-serving Prime Minister of the 20th century. A seismograph is an instrument which measures and records details of what? Earthquakes. A seismograph is a scientific instrument used to detect and record seismic waves caused by earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, or other ground motions. By analyzing the seismograms produced, scientists can determine an earthquake's magnitude, location, and the nature of geological forces. What is Madame Bovary's first name in the 1856 novel by Gustave Flaubert? Emma. Emma Bovary is the tragic protagonist of Gustave Flaubert's influential 1856 novel, Madame Bovary. The novel is a masterpiece of realism, depicting a young woman's romantic dreams clashing with the banality of provincial life, often leading to her downfall. Who is the Roman goddess of the dawn? Aurora. Aurora is the Roman goddess of the dawn, equivalent to the Greek goddess Eos. She is often depicted as rising from the ocean, scattering roses into the sky as she announces the arrival of the sun, bringing light and new beginnings each day. A silver jubilee is the anniversary of how many years of a significant event? 25. Jubilees are significant anniversary celebrations. A silver jubilee specifically marks 25 years, while a golden jubilee commemorates 50 years, and a diamond jubilee celebrates 60 or 75 years, often observed for royal reigns or institutional milestones. What is the young of a giraffe called? Calf. The term calf refers to the young of many large mammals, including giraffes, cows, elephants, and whales. Giraffe calves are born after a gestation period of about 15 months and are remarkably tall at birth. The Blissworth Canal Tunnel is in which English county? Northamptonshire. The Blissworth Canal Tunnel is a significant engineering feat located on the Grand Union Canal in Northamptonshire, England. It is one of the longest navigable tunnels in the UK and played a crucial role in Britain's industrial transport network. Atonement, Enduring Love and Solar are all novels by which author? Ian McEwan. Ian McEwan is a highly acclaimed British novelist, renowned for his literary fiction that often delves into human nature, morality, and the consequences of actions. Atonement is one of his most celebrated works, also adapted into a successful film. Which composer wrote the bridal chorus, popularly known as Here Comes the Bride? Richard Wagner. Richard Wagner, a prominent German composer, is best known for his operas and music dramas. The bridal chorus, from his opera, Lohengrin, 1850, gained universal popularity as processional music for wedding ceremonies. Salix babylonica is the Latin name for which tree? Weeping willow. Salix babylonica is the scientific name for the weeping willow, a distinctive tree recognized by its graceful, drooping branches. Originating from dry areas of northern China, these trees are widely cultivated globally for their aesthetic appeal, often found near water bodies. In which country is Lake Onega? Russia. Lake Onega is the second largest lake in Europe by both area and volume, located in the northwestern part of Russia. It serves as a vital freshwater resource and navigation route, significantly contributing to the regional ecosystem and economy. Which planet has 687 Earth days to 1 year? Mars. Mars, often referred to as the red planet, is the fourth planet from the Sun and the second smallest in our solar system. Its orbital period around the Sun, which defines its year, is approximately 687 Earth days, making a Martian year almost twice as long as an Earth year. What does Fe represent in the periodic table? Iron. Fe is the chemical symbol for iron, derived from its Latin name, ferrum. Iron is a crucial element for life, primarily known for its role in hemoglobin, which transports oxygen in the blood. It is also extensively used in construction and industrial applications due to its strength and ferromagnetic properties. In medicine, an Amsler grid is used for examining which part of the body? Eyes. The Amsler grid is a diagnostic tool used in ophthalmology to detect visual disturbances resulting from changes in the retina, particularly the macula, such as macular degeneration. It helps patients self-monitor for symptoms like metamorphopsia, distortion of straight lines, and scotomas, blind spots. Mieszko I was the first historically documented ruler of which modern-day European country? Poland. Mieszko I was the first historical ruler of Poland, reigning from about 960 to 992 AD. He is considered the de facto creator of the Polish state and a pivotal figure in its Christianization, adopting Western Christianity in 966 AD. Awarwa is the capital of which island group? The Cook Islands. Awarwa is the capital of the Cook Islands, a self-governing island country in the South Pacific Ocean, in free association with New Zealand. It is located on the island of Rarotonga, which is the most populous island of the Cook Islands. Serial and parallel are types of ports found in which device? A computer. Serial and parallel ports are types of interfaces used for connecting peripherals to a computer. Serial ports transmit data one bit at a time sequentially, while parallel ports transmit multiple bits simultaneously over separate lines, offering faster data transfer for devices like printers. The Painted Desert is located in which US state? Arizona. The Painted Desert is a vast, arid badland area in the southwestern United States, primarily within northern Arizona. It is known for its vividly colored rock formations, created by various minerals, and extends from the Grand Canyon into the Petrified Forest National Park. In the Bible, what is the surname of Judas, who betrayed Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane? Iscariot. Judas Iscariot is known in the New Testament as one of the 12 apostles of Jesus Christ. He is infamous for his betrayal of Jesus to the Sanhedrin in exchange for 30 pieces of silver, an event often depicted with him kissing Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane as a signal to the arresting party. How many feet does a bipedal animal possess? 2. A biped is an animal that typically moves by means of two legs or feet. This form of terrestrial locomotion is common in various species, including humans, birds, and some primates, offering advantages in terms of energy efficiency and visual range. Which renowned political figure was assigned the prison number 46664? Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela, an anti-apartheid revolutionary and former president of South Africa, was given the prison number 46664 during his incarceration on Robben Island. He spent 27 years in prison for his activism, becoming a global symbol of resistance against apartheid and a beacon of peace and reconciliation. In which month is Columbus Day observed in the United States? October. Columbus Day is a national holiday in the United States, commemorating the arrival of Christopher Columbus in the Americas on October 12, 1492. It is typically celebrated on the second Monday of October, though its observance and historical interpretation remain subjects of ongoing debate and controversy. Mombasa serves as the principal port for which country? Kenya. Mombasa is a major coastal city in southeastern Kenya, situated on the Indian Ocean. It is the country's oldest and second largest city and its principal port, playing a crucial role in regional trade and serving as a gateway to East and Central Africa. What was the middle name of former US President Richard Nixon? Millu. Richard Millu Nixon served as the 37th President of the United States from 1969 to 1974. His middle name, Millu, was his mother's maiden name, reflecting a common practice of using a maternal surname as a middle name. Who was the last Tudor monarch of England? Elizabeth I. Elizabeth I, often called the Virgin Queen, was the last monarch of the Tudor dynasty, reigning from 1558 to 1603. Her era, known as the Elizabethan Age, was marked by significant cultural flourishing and increased English influence abroad. What color was the medal ribbon on the Naval Victoria Cross until 1918? Blue. The Victoria Cross, VC, is the highest military decoration for gallantry in the British Armed Forces. Until 1918, the ribbon color for naval recipients was blue, while army recipients received a crimson ribbon. After this date, the ribbon color was standardized to crimson for all services. Who became head of the KGB in May 1967? Yuri Andropov. Yuri Andropov served as the head of the KGB, the Soviet Union's principal security agency, for 15 years from 1967 to 1982. His tenure was marked by a tightening of internal dissent and a focus on counterintelligence before he briefly became General Secretary of the Communist Party. What does the Latin phrase, ars gratia artis translate to in English? Art for art's sake. Ars gratia artis is a Latin aphorism meaning, art for art's sake. This philosophical idea asserts that the intrinsic value of art is independent of any moral, didactic, or utilitarian function, primarily advocated by aesthetic movements in the 19th century. A nullipra is a woman who has never done what? Given birth. In medical terminology, a nullipra refers to a woman who has never given birth to a child, regardless of whether she has been pregnant previously. This term is distinct from nulla gravida, which denotes a woman who has never been pregnant. What is the capital of Lithuania? Vilnius. Vilnius is the capital and largest city of Lithuania, located in the southeastern part of the country. Its historic old town is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, renowned for its diverse architectural styles including Gothic, Renaissance, Baroque, and Neoclassical. Vectus was the Roman name for which island off the coast of Britain? Isle of Wight. Vectus was the Roman name for the Isle of Wight, an island situated off the south coast of England. During the Roman occupation of Britain, the island was integrated into the province and saw the establishment of villas and agricultural activity. What were the names of William Shakespeare's twins with Anne Hathaway? Hamnet and Judith. William Shakespeare, the renowned English playwright and poet, had 3 children with Anne Hathaway, Susanna, and twins Hamnet and Judith. Hamnet died at the age of 11, which is believed by some scholars to have influenced Shakespeare's later works, including Hamlet. What is the highest award conferred by the Royal Horticultural Society? Victoria Medal of Honor. The Victoria Medal of Honor, VMH, is the highest award bestowed by the Royal Horticultural Society, RHS. Instituted in 1897 to commemorate Queen Victoria Diamond Jubilee, it recognizes British horticulturists who have made outstanding contributions to the advancement of horticulture. What is the official language of Zambia? English. English is the official language of Zambia and is used in government, education, and business. However, Zambia is a multilingual nation with over 70 indigenous languages, including Bemba, Nyanya, Tonga, and Lozi, which are widely spoken across different regions. In which year did British monarchs George V, Edward VIII, and George VI all reign? 1936. The year 1936 is known as the Year of the Three Kings in British history. George V died in January, followed by the brief reign of Edward VIII, who abdicated in December. His younger brother, George VI, then ascended to the throne in the same month, marking a tumultuous period in the British monarchy. How many pairs of strings does a tetrachordo bouzouki have? 4. The bouzouki is a long-necked plucked string instrument prominent in Greek music. A tetrachordo bouzouki specifically features 4 pairs of strings, totaling 8 strings, which are typically tuned as C3, C4, F3, F4, A3, A3, D4, D4. Dermatophobia is the irrational fear of diseases of which part of the body? Skin. Dermatophobia is a specific phobia characterized by an excessive and irrational fear of skin diseases or lesions. Individuals suffering from dermatophobia may constantly check their skin for abnormalities, avoid social situations due to fear of contagion, or experience significant anxiety related to their skin health. In which Russian city is the State Hermitage Museum located? St. Petersburg. The State Hermitage Museum in St. Petersburg, Russia, is one of the largest and oldest museums in the world, renowned for its vast collection of art and cultural artifacts. Founded in 1764 by Catherine the Great, its main complex includes the Winter Palace, which was once the official residence of Russian emperors. The Diamantina Trench lies in which ocean? Indian Ocean. The Diamantina Trench is a major deep ocean trench located in the eastern Indian Ocean, off the coast of Western Australia. It is part of the larger Diamantina Fracture Zone and represents one of the deepest points in the Indian Ocean. The Piazza Navona is in which European city? Rome. Piazza Navona is a famous public space in Rome, Italy, built on the site of the Stadium of Domitian. It is renowned for its magnificent Baroque architecture, including Bernini's Fountain of Four Rivers and the Church of Saint-Anne in Agon, making it a significant cultural and historical landmark. Which U.S. president was shot by assassin Charles J. Guiteau in 1881? James A. Garfield. James A. Garfield, the 20th President of the United States, was shot by a disgruntled office seeker, Charles J. Guiteau, on July 2, 1881. Garfield died 79 days later from complications of the wound, highlighting issues of political patronage and medical practices of the era. Jacob Epstein and Barbara Hepworth were famous in which branch of the arts? Sculpture. Jacob Epstein was a British sculptor known for his pioneering role in modern sculpture, often focusing on monumental works. Barbara Hepworth was a prominent English artist, a leading figure in the development of abstract art and a pioneer of direct carving in stone and wood. Both are considered major figures in 20th century sculpture. Known as the Liberator of South America, political leader Simon Bolivar became president of which country in 1813? Venezuela. Simon Bolivar, a key figure in South American independence, was a military and political leader who played a crucial role in establishing several sovereign states. He was declared El Libertador and became president of Venezuela in 1813, leading to the eventual formation of Gran Colombia. During which year did British sovereignty of Hong Kong end? 1997. The transfer of sovereignty over Hong Kong from the United Kingdom to China occurred on July 1, 1997. This event marked the end of British colonial rule and the establishment of the Hong Kong Special Administrative Region under the "one country, two systems" principle. What is considered the fifth pillar of Islam? The Hajj. The Hajj is the annual Islamic pilgrimage to Mecca, Saudi Arabia, the holiest city for Muslims. It is a mandatory religious duty for all adult Muslims who are physically and financially capable of undertaking the journey at least once in their lifetime. In which country was the radio telescope located that transmitted pictures of Neil Armstrong walking on the moon in 1969 to the rest of the world? Australia. The Parkes Observatory in Australia played a crucial role in receiving and transmitting the live television images of Neil Armstrong's first steps on the moon in July 1969. Its strategic location and powerful dish antenna provided vital downlinks for the Apollo 11 mission. Which is the largest of the Balearic Islands? Majorca. Majorca, also known as Majorca, is the largest island of the Balearic Islands, an autonomous community of Spain in the Mediterranean Sea. Its capital is Palma, and it is a popular tourist destination. Who was the mother of King James I of England? Mary, Queen of Scots. Mary, Queen of Scots, was the mother of King James I of England, who also reigned as James VI of Scotland. Her execution by Elizabeth I ultimately paved the way for the union of the crowns under her son. Who became Germany's youngest president at the age of 51 in 2010? Christian Wulff. Christian Wulff served as the president of Germany from 2010 to 2012. At 51 years old, he became the youngest person to assume the German presidency at the time of his election. Which famous London building was destroyed by fire in November 1936? The Crystal Palace. The Crystal Palace was an iconic cast iron and plate glass structure initially built for the Great Exhibition of 1851 in Hyde Park, London. It was later moved to Sydenham Hill and tragically destroyed by fire in November 1936, marking the loss of a significant Victorian landmark. Which US Ivy League university is named after color? Brown. Brown University, located in Providence, Rhode Island, is one of the 8 prestigious Ivy League universities. Founded in 1764, it is the 7th oldest institution of higher education in the United States. What is the official country residence of the British Prime Minister called? Chequers. Chequers is a 16th century country house located in Buckinghamshire, England. It serves as the official country retreat for the incumbent Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, offering a private space for work and relaxation away from 10 Downing Street. In poetry, how many lines of verse constitute a quatrain? 4. A quatrain is a type of stanza, or a complete poem, consisting of 4 lines. It is one of the most common stanzaic forms in European poetry, with various rhyme schemes like ABB, Abab, or Abba. Who authored the 1921 novel, Scaramouche? Raphael Sabatini. Raphael Sabatini was an Italian-English writer known for his historical and adventure novels. Scaramouche, published in 1921, is one of his most famous works, set during the French Revolution and featuring the adventures of André Louis Moreau. Laguna del Carbon, also known as Coal Lagoon, represents the lowest point in which South American nation? Argentina. Laguna del Carbon, located in the Santa Cruz province of Argentina, is the lowest point in both South America and the Western Hemisphere. It lies approximately 105 meters, 344 feet, below sea level within the Gran Bajo de San Julian Depression. Which British monarch was the last to exercise the royal veto on an Act of Parliament? Queen Anne. Queen Anne famously vetoed the Scottish Militia Bill in 1708, marking the last time a British monarch directly refused royal assent to a parliamentary bill. Since then, the royal veto has fallen out of practice, signifying a crucial shift towards parliamentary supremacy in the UK's constitutional monarchy. Which US state shares its eastern border with Arizona? New Mexico. Arizona is bordered by New Mexico to its east, Utah to the north, Nevada and California to the west, and the Mexican state of Sonora to the south. This geographical knowledge is fundamental for understanding US regional geography. Which planet is the eighth in order from the Sun? Neptune. Neptune is the eighth and farthest known planet from the Sun in our solar system. It is a gas giant, primarily composed of hydrogen, helium, and methane, and is known for its strong winds and dynamic storm systems. In medicine, Dupuytren's contracture affects which part of the body? Hand, fingers. Dupuytren's contracture is a medical condition affecting the connective tissue in the palm of the hand. It causes one or more fingers to bend into the palm, making it difficult to straighten them. This condition typically progresses slowly and is more common in men of Northern European descent. Who was the spouse of Queen Mary I of England? Philip II of Spain. Queen Mary I, also known as Mary Tudor, was the first Queen Regnant of England, reigning from 1553 to 1558. She married Philip II of Spain in 1554, a union intended to solidify an alliance between England and Spain, though it was largely unpopular with her subjects due to fears of Spanish influence. Sovereignty of the Liancourt Rocks is disputed between which two Asian countries? South Korea and Japan. The Liancourt Rocks, known as Doko in Korea and Takeshima in Japan, are a group of small islets in the Sea of Japan, East Sea. Their sovereignty has been a long-standing and sensitive dispute between South Korea and Japan, significantly impacting their diplomatic relations. Both nations assert historical rights and administrative control over the islets. Which is the largest city in Europe by population? London. London is often cited as one of the largest cities in Europe by population within its administrative boundaries, particularly Greater London. However, definitions of largest city vary significantly. Other cities like Moscow or Istanbul frequently surpass London when considering urban agglomerations or broader metropolitan areas. Which town in Wales has been the home of the Royal Mint since 1968? Llantrisson. The Royal Mint, responsible for producing coinage for the United Kingdom, relocated its operations to Llantrisson, Wales, in 1968. This move consolidated its facilities and modernized its production capabilities. What is a female zebra called? Mare. In zoology, a female zebra is commonly referred to as a mare. This term is also used for adult female horses and other equids. What is a line called that goes straight from the center of a circle to the circumference? Radius. In geometry, a radius is a line segment extending from the center of a circle to any point on its circumference. It is a fundamental component for calculating a circle's area and circumference. Mount Etna is on which European island? Sicily. Mount Etna is an active stratovolcano situated on the island of Sicily, Italy. It is one of the world's most active volcanoes and holds significant geological and ecological importance. How many wings does a bee have? 4. Bees, like many other insects in the order Hymenoptera, possess 4 wings. These are arranged in 2 pairs, forewings and hindwings, that interlock during flight to create a single aerodynamic surface. The name of which city translates into English as River of January? Rio de Janeiro. Rio de Janeiro, a major city in Brazil, derives its name from the Portuguese phrase, River of January. Portuguese explorers, upon arriving in January 1502, mistakenly believed Guanabara Bay to be the mouth of a large river. The musical, West Side Story is based on which Shakespeare play? Romeo and Juliet. The iconic musical West Side Story is a modern adaptation of William Shakespeare's tragic play, Romeo and Juliet. It reimagines the feuding Capulets and Montagues as rival street gangs in 1950s New York City. According to the Bible, whose wife was turned into a pillar of salt as soon as she looked back at Sodom? Lot's wife. In the biblical book of Genesis, Lot's wife was transformed into a pillar of salt for disobeying God's command not to look back at the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah. This narrative serves as a cautionary tale of obedience. What is the boiling point of water in degrees Fahrenheit? 212. The boiling point of water is a fundamental physical constant, representing the temperature at which water transforms from a liquid to a gaseous state. At standard atmospheric pressure, water boils at 212 degrees Fahrenheit, which is equivalent to 100 degrees Celsius. What is the cube root of 27? 3. The cube root of a number is a specific value that, when multiplied by itself 3 times, yields the original number. For 27, the cube root is 3, as 3 times 3 times 3 equals 27. This concept is foundational in elementary algebra and number theory. In humans, polyphagia is an excessive desire to do what? Eat. Polyphagia, also known as hyperphagia, is a medical condition characterized by an abnormally increased appetite and desire for food. It is often a symptom of underlying medical conditions such as diabetes mellitus, hypothyroidism, or certain mental health disorders, rather than simple hunger. The river Seine empties into which body of water? English Channel. The river Seine is a major commercial waterway in northern France, flowing through Paris. It discharges its waters into the English Channel, La Manche, at Le Havre, forming an important estuary that connects inland France to the Atlantic Ocean. What type of creature is a smooth hound? Shark. A smooth hound refers to several species of small, bottom-dwelling sharks belonging to the family Triacidae, such as the starry smooth hound, Mustelus asterias. These sharks are typically found in temperate waters and are characterized by their flattened teeth, adapted for crushing crustaceans and mollusks. Who became Secretary General of the United Nations in January 1972? Kurt Waldheim. Kurt Waldheim served as the fourth Secretary General of the United Nations from 1972 to 1981, following Youth Hunt. A former Austrian diplomat and president, his tenure at the UN was marked by significant global events, though his wartime past later became a subject of controversy. The Dinshaway Incident is the name given to a 1906 dispute between British military officers and the locals of which African country? Egypt. The Dinshaway incident of 1906 was a violent confrontation between British military personnel and Egyptian villagers in Dinshaway, in the Nile Delta. The severe British reprisals, including public hangings, ignited widespread nationalist sentiment and became a powerful symbol for the Egyptian independence movement against British occupation. The Delta Works is a series of construction projects in which European country, to protect large areas of land from the sea? Netherlands. The Delta Works is an elaborate series of construction projects in the Netherlands, built primarily after the devastating North Sea flood of 1953. This impressive system of dams, sluices, locks, dikes, and storm surge barriers is designed to protect large areas of the country from the sea and river flooding, showcasing advanced hydraulic engineering. Chorophobia is the irrational fear of which activity? Dancing. Chorophobia is an specific phobia characterized by an intense and irrational fear of dancing or situations involving dancing. Individuals suffering from chorophobia may experience severe anxiety, panic attacks, or avoidance behaviors when confronted with dancing, significantly impacting their social and emotional well-being. In ancient history, which Carthaginian general defeated the Romans at Cannae in 216 BC? Hannibal. The Battle of Cannae, fought in 216 BC, was a pivotal engagement of the Second Punic War where Hannibal's Carthaginian forces decisively defeated the Roman army. This battle is renowned for Hannibal's masterful tactical envelopment, inflicting one of the most severe losses in Roman military history. Edward of Woodstock, famously known as the Black Prince, was the eldest son of which English monarch? King Edward III. Edward of Woodstock, the Black Prince, was a renowned military commander during the 100 Years' War and the eldest son of King Edward III. Despite his military successes, including victories at Crecy and Poitiers, he died before his father, making his son Richard II the heir apparent. Russian olive is a North American term for which garden plant? Olista. Russian olive, scientifically known as Elaeagnus angustifolia, is a deciduous shrub or small tree native to Eurasia. It is commonly referred to as Olista and is noted for its silvery leaves and sometimes considered an invasive species in North America. Baldwin I was crowned the first king of which entity in 1100? Jerusalem. Baldwin I was a key leader during the First Crusade and became the first king of Jerusalem in 1100. His coronation was significant for establishing the Latin Kingdom of Jerusalem as a powerful crusader state in the Levant. What is the name of London's oldest bookshop, situated in Piccadilly? Hatchard's. Hatchard's, established in 1797, holds the distinction of being London's oldest bookshop and is located on Piccadilly. It has a long and esteemed history, holding several royal warrants and serving as a prominent literary institution. What were the first names of the prominent English author H. G. Wells? Herbert George. H. G. Wells, whose full name was Herbert George Wells, was an influential English writer renowned for his pioneering science fiction novels such as The War of the Worlds and The Time Machine. He is widely regarded as one of the fathers of the science fiction genre, with his works often containing significant social and political commentary. Who was the last British monarch of the House of Hanover? Queen Victoria. Queen Victoria's reign, 1837 to 1901, marked the end of the House of Hanover, as her son Edward VII belonged to the House of Saxe-Coburg and Gotha. The House of Hanover ruled Great Britain and later the United Kingdom from 1714. The Caribbean island of Martinique is administered by which European country? France. Martinique is an overseas department and region of France, located in the Lesser Antilles of the West Indies. As such, it is an integral part of the French Republic and the European Union. C is the symbol for which chemical element? Silicon. Silicon, C, is a chemical element with atomic number 14, a metalloid with a blue-gray metallic luster. It is the second most abundant element in the Earth's crust and is crucial in electronics, particularly in semiconductors. The English Riviera is in which county? Devon. The English Riviera is a nickname for the coastal town of Torquay and its surrounding area in South Devon, England. It is famous for its mild climate, palm trees, and picturesque coastline, attracting tourists for generations. Protanopia is color blindness resulting in insensitivity to which color light? Red. Protanopia is a form of red-green color blindness where the red cones in the retina are absent. Individuals with protanopia have difficulty distinguishing between red, orange, yellow, and green colors, often perceiving them as shades of yellow or gray. St. Michael's Mount is off the coast of which English county? Cornwall. St. Michael's Mount is a tidal island in Mounts Bay, Cornwall, England, connected to the town of Marazion by a granite causeway at low tide. It is crowned by a medieval castle and church, managed by the National Trust. English monarch King John signed Magna Carta in which century? 13th century. King John of England signed the Magna Carta in June 1215 at Runnymede, in the 13th century. This foundational legal document limited the power of the monarch and established certain rights for free men, influencing constitutional law worldwide. In music, what is the name of a whole note which has the time value of 2 minims or 4 crotchets? Semibreve. The semibreve is a fundamental note value in Western musical notation, representing the longest common duration. It is equivalent to 2 minims or 4 crotchets, laying the groundwork for understanding rhythmic structure and time signatures in classical and contemporary music. A ryokan is a traditional inn in which country? Japan. A ryokan is a type of traditional Japanese inn that originated in the Edo period, 1603 to 1868. These establishments typically feature tatami-matted rooms, communal baths, and traditional cuisine, offering guests a unique insight into Japanese hospitality and culture. Gephyriophobia is the irrational fear of crossing what? Bridges. Gephyriophobia is a specific phobia characterized by an intense and irrational fear of bridges or crossing them. This condition is often linked to other anxieties such as agoraphobia or acrophobia, presenting significant challenges for individuals in their daily lives. How many letters are in the Hebrew alphabet? 22. The Hebrew alphabet, known as the Aleph-Bet, consists of 22 letters, all of which are consonants. It is an abjad, meaning vowels are typically not written but are indicated by diacritical marks, nikhud, when needed, playing a crucial role in religious texts and modern Hebrew. In humans, adductor tendinitis is the term for which complaint? Athlete's groin. Adductor tendinitis is an inflammation or irritation of the adductor tendons in the groin area, commonly known as athlete's groin. This condition frequently affects athletes involved in sports requiring repetitive leg movements, such as running or kicking, due to overuse and strain on the inner thigh muscles. Who became British Prime Minister in March 1974? Harold Wilson. Harold Wilson served 2 non-consecutive terms as the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, first from 1964 to 1970, and then again from 1974 to 1976. He was a prominent figure in the Labour Party, known for his social reforms and handling of economic challenges. Which Mediterranean island was once known as Alasia? Cyprus. Alasia was an ancient state or city-state that corresponds to the island of Cyprus, known for its rich copper resources during the Late Bronze Age. It was a significant trading hub in the eastern Mediterranean. What is the top prize at the Cannes Film Festival? Palme d'Or. The Palme d'Or, Golden Palm, is the highest award presented at the Cannes Film Festival, considered one of the most prestigious accolades in the film industry worldwide. It is awarded to the director of the best feature film in the official competition. The medical condition glaucoma affects which part of the body? Eye. Glaucoma is a group of eye conditions that damage the optic nerve, often caused by abnormally high pressure in the eye. It is a leading cause of irreversible blindness globally if not detected and treated early. Hirudin is a naturally occurring peptide in the salivary glands of which creatures used in medicine? Leeches. Hirudin is a naturally occurring peptide found in the salivary glands of medicinal leeches, Hirudo medicinalis, that has potent anticoagulant properties. It is used therapeutically as an anticoagulant to prevent blood clots. In the animal kingdom, what is the world's largest land predator? Polar bear. The polar bear, Ursus maritimus, is the world's largest land predator, native to the Arctic Circle. These powerful bears are apex predators in their ecosystem, primarily hunting seals from the sea ice. Blunging, fettling, sugar, and wedging are all terms used in witchcraft. Pottery. Pottery involves shaping clay into ceramic objects. Terms like blunging, mixing clay with water, fettling, cleaning excess clay, sugar, a container used in firing, and wedging, kneading clay, are fundamental techniques in this ancient craft. The Cowal Highland Gathering, the Cowal Games, are held every August in which Scottish town? Dunoon. The Cowal Highland Gathering, often referred to as the Cowal Games, is one of the largest Highland Games in the world, held annually in Dunoon, Scotland. This event showcases traditional Scottish sports, music, and dance, attracting participants and spectators globally. In which U.S. state is Lower Lake? California. Lower Lake is a census-designated place in Lake County, California. It is located near Clear Lake, the largest natural freshwater lake entirely within California, and is part of the state's scenic North Coast region. Triticum is the Latin name for which cereal crop? Wheat. Triticum is the botanical genus that includes various species of wheat. Wheat is a globally important cereal crop, cultivated extensively for its grain, which is a staple food source and a major component in the human diet. Who composed the opera, The Marriage of Figaro? Mozart. Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart composed The Marriage of Figaro, Le Nozze di Figaro, in 1786. This opera buffa, based on a stage comedy by Pierre Beaumarchais, is one of the most frequently performed operas and a cornerstone of the standard operatic repertoire. What is the young of a shark called? Pup. The young of a shark is commonly referred to as a pup. Sharks exhibit various reproductive strategies, including viviparity, live birth, oviparity, egg laying, and ovoviviparity, eggs hatch internally, live birth. In art, the Dada movement, Dadaism, originated in which European country during World War I? Switzerland. The Dada movement, or Dadaism, was an avant-garde art movement that emerged in Zurich, Switzerland, during World War I, characterized by its rejection of logic and reason. Dada artists protested against the brutality of war and the perceived absurdity of society through diverse artistic forms. Who was the first Polish pope in history? Pope John Paul II. Pope John Paul II, born Karol Wojtyla, served as pope from 1978 to 2005. He was the first non-Italian pope in over 450 years and a significant figure in 20th century world events due to his role in global politics and advocacy for human rights. The island of St. Helena lies in which body of water? Atlantic Ocean. St. Helena is a remote volcanic island in the South Atlantic Ocean, famous as the place of Napoleon Bonaparte's exile and death. It is a British overseas territory, strategically located between South America and Africa. In Judaism, what is the name of the period of 7 days of formal mourning for the dead, which begins immediately after the funeral? Shiva. Shiva is a 7-day period of formal mourning in Judaism observed by first-degree relatives immediately following the burial. During this time, mourners typically stay home and receive visitors, providing comfort and support as they focus on grief and remembrance. 18th century philosopher, writer and composer Jean-Jacques Rousseau was born in which European city? Geneva. Jean-Jacques Rousseau, 1712–1778, was an influential Genevan philosopher, writer, and composer of the Enlightenment. His political philosophy, particularly his ideas on the social contract and general will, profoundly influenced the French Revolution and the development of modern political and educational thought. Gaulle, Le Vernier, Lassalle, Arago and Adams are all rings round which planet? Neptune. Neptune, the eighth and farthest known planet from the Sun, possesses a faint ring system comprising several distinct rings named after astronomers. These rings, discovered by Voyager 2 in 1989, are much less prominent than Saturn's and are believed to be relatively young and unstable. The novels, The Tropic of Cancer, and The Tropic of Capricorn, were written by which author? Henry Miller. Henry Miller, 1891–1980, was an American writer whose semi-autobiographical novels, including Tropic of Cancer, 1934, and Tropic of Capricorn, 1939, broke literary conventions with their frank explorations of sexuality and existential themes. His works were controversial and influential, challenging censorship laws and impacting subsequent generations of writers. How many emirates constitute the United Arab Emirates? 7. The United Arab Emirates, UAE, is a federation of 7 emirates: Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Sharjah, Ajman, Al Quwain, Ras Al Khaimah, and Fujairah. These emirates merged to form the UAE in 1971. Baldy Mountain is the highest peak in which mountain range in New Mexico? Cimarron Range. Baldy Mountain, also known as Mount Baldy, is the highest peak in the Cimarron Range, a sub-range of the Sangre de Cristo Mountains in northern New Mexico. It is a notable landmark in the Philmont Scout Ranch area. Attributed to Julius Caesar, what is the English translation of the phrase, alia iacta est? The die has been cast. The Latin phrase, alia iacta est, famously attributed to Julius Caesar, signifies a point of no return after an irreversible decision has been made. Caesar reportedly uttered this phrase upon crossing the Rubicon River in 49 BC, thereby initiating a civil war against the Roman Senate. In August 1960, Chad, a country in Central Africa, gained independence from which colonial power? France. Chad achieved independence from France on August 11, 1960, becoming the Republic of Chad. This event was part of the broader decolonization movement across Africa in the mid-20th century, particularly among former French territories. Horse syndrome is a common condition observed in which animal? Cat. Horse syndrome is a condition in cats where the nictitating membrane, or third eyelid, partially covers the eye. It is typically a sign of an underlying systemic illness or digestive upset rather than a primary eye disease. Who authored the 1939 novel, The Grapes of Wrath? John Steinbeck. John Steinbeck's 1939 novel, The Grapes of Wrath, is an American literary classic that portrays the struggles of the Joad family, migrant farmers from Oklahoma dispossessed by the Dust Bowl during the Great Depression. The novel won the Pulitzer Prize for Fiction in 1940 and is celebrated for its social commentary. Sharm el-Sheikh, Dahab, and Taba are prominent resorts in which country? Egypt. Sharm el-Sheikh, Dahab, and Taba are well-known resort towns situated on the Sinai Peninsula in Egypt. These locations are famous for their Red Sea beaches, coral reefs, and popularity among divers and tourists. What type of creature is a pompano? Fish. Pompano are a genus of marine fish belonging to the jack family, Caringadidae. They are prized for their delicate flavor and are found in coastal waters of the Atlantic, Indian, and Pacific Oceans. What is the capital city of the U.S. state of South Carolina? Columbia. Columbia is the capital and largest city of the U.S. state of South Carolina. It is located at the confluence of the Saluda and Broad rivers, which merge to form the Congaree River. What is the official currency of Turkey? Turkish lira. The Turkish lira, TRY, is the official currency of Turkey and the de facto currency of the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus. It is issued and regulated by the Central Bank of the Republic of Turkey. Which Spanish dance is Sebastiano Carrezo credited with inventing in 1780? The bolero. The bolero is a slow-tempo Latin dance of Spanish origin, believed to have been invented by Sebastiano Carrezo in 1780. Characterized by its dramatic and sensual movements, it is typically performed to music in 3/4 time. Who was the first US president to appear on color television? Dwight D. Eisenhower. Dwight D. Eisenhower was the first US president to appear on color television. His first televised color press conference took place on July 1, 1957, marking a notable milestone in broadcasting history. In which country did operatic tenor Luciano Pavarotti make his first appearance outside Italy in 1963? Ireland. Luciano Pavarotti, the renowned Italian operatic tenor, made his first professional appearance outside Italy in 1963 in Ireland. He performed in Dublin, beginning his illustrious international career. Which city is the largest in Canada by population? Toronto. Toronto is the largest city in Canada by population and the provincial capital of Ontario. It is a leading international center for business, finance, arts, and culture, known for its multicultural diversity. Which British jockey was stripped of his obey in June 1988 after being jailed for tax evasion? Lester Piggott. Lester Piggott, one of the most iconic jockeys in British racing history, was stripped of his obey, Officer of the Order of the British Empire, in June 1988. This occurred after he was jailed for tax evasion, an event that sent shock waves through the sporting world and raised questions about public figures and accountability. Which country hosted the 1988 Summer Olympic Games? South Korea. The 1988 Summer Olympic Games were held in Seoul, South Korea, making it the first time the country hosted the event. These games were significant as they took place during a period of geopolitical tension and showcased South Korea on the global stage. Who succeeded Ronald Reagan as President of the US? George H. W. Bush. George H. W. Bush served as the 41st President of the United States from 1989 to 1993, following his 2 terms as Vice President under Ronald Reagan. His presidency was marked by the end of the Cold War and the Persian Gulf War. In December 1989, which Romanian dictator and his wife were executed after being found guilty for crimes against humanity? Nicolae Ceausescu. Nicolae Ceausescu was Romania's last communist leader, ruling from 1965 until his overthrow and execution in December 1989 amidst the Romanian Revolution. His authoritarian regime was known for its widespread human rights abuses and economic mismanagement. Who was elected leader of the British Social Democratic Party in July 1982? Roy Jenkins. Roy Jenkins was a notable British politician and the inaugural leader of the Social Democratic Party, SDP, from 1982 to 1983. A former Labour cabinet minister, he co-founded the SDP in 1981, seeking to establish a centrist political force in the United Kingdom. On the 1st of March 1981, which Provisional Irish Republican Army member began a hunger strike for political status in Long Kesh prison, resulting in his death on May 5. Bobby Sands. Bobby Sands was an Irish Republican and a member of the Provisional Irish Republican Army, IRA. His death in 1981 during a hunger strike in Long Kesh prison, demanding political prisoner status, was a highly significant event during the Troubles in Northern Ireland, drawing international attention. Which Roman numerals depict the year 1988? MCMLXXXVII. Roman numerals are an ancient numerical system that originated in Rome, utilizing combinations of letters from the Latin alphabet. The numeral MCMLXXXVII represents the year 1988, formed by M, 1000, CM, 900, LXXX, 80, and 8. Which former Gestapo boss was sentenced to life imprisonment in July 1987 for crimes against humanity during World War II? Klaus Barbie. Klaus Barbie, known as the Butcher of Lyon, was a high-ranking Gestapo officer responsible for numerous atrocities during World War II. After evading justice for decades, he was extradited from Bolivia and convicted in France in 1987 for crimes against humanity, serving as a significant post-war trial. Which London-based independent airline went bankrupt in February 1982, leaving 6,000 stranded passengers? Laker Airways. Laker Airways, pioneered by Sir Freddie Laker, was famous for its SkyTrain, low-cost transatlantic flights. Its bankruptcy in 1982 was a landmark event in aviation history, highlighting the challenges of deregulation and fierce competition in the airline industry. A sea nettle is what type of creature? Jellyfish. Sea nettles are a common type of jellyfish belonging to the phylum Cnidaria. They are known for their bell-shaped bodies and long, stinging tentacles, which they use to capture prey. Which is the longest river in New Mexico, running through the entire length of the state? The Rio Grande. The Rio Grande is one of the longest rivers in North America, flowing from Colorado through New Mexico and Texas, forming part of the border with Mexico, before emptying into the Gulf of Mexico. Its waters are crucial for agriculture and sustenance in the arid regions it traverses. How many nights are in the novel, Arabian Nights? 1001. 1001 Nights, often known as Arabian Nights, is a collection of Middle Eastern and South Asian folk tales compiled during the Islamic Golden Age. The frame story features Scheherazade, who tells a tale each night to Sultan Shahryar to prevent her execution, spanning 1001 nights. American Falls, Bridal Veil Falls, and Horseshoe Falls are all part of which waterfall? Niagara Falls. Niagara Falls is a collective name for three waterfalls that straddle the international border between the United States and Canada. These three distinct sections are the American Falls, the Bridal Veil Falls, both on the US side, and the Horseshoe Falls, primarily on the Canadian side, known for their immense power and beauty. The Welsh town of Aberystwyth lies on which bay? Cardigan Bay. Aberystwyth is a historic market town, administrative centre, and holiday resort in Ceredigion, Wales. It is situated on Cardigan Bay, which is the largest bay in Wales, forming a significant part of the Welsh coastline and known for its scenic beauty and marine life. The Goose Fair is held annually in which English city? Nottingham. The Goose Fair is a historic annual fun fair held in Nottingham, England, typically in early October. Dating back over 700 years, it is one of Europe's oldest and largest traveling fairs, traditionally associated with the sale of geese but now a major amusement event. Which circle of latitude on the Earth is also known as the Northern Tropic? Tropic of Cancer. The Tropic of Cancer is the most northerly circle of latitude on Earth at which the sun can be directly overhead. It marks the northern limit of the tropics, playing a crucial role in Earth's climate zones and seasonal variations. English statesman Thomas Cromwell, 1st Earl of Essex, was executed during the reign of which English monarch? King Henry VIII. Thomas Cromwell was a key minister to King Henry VIII, instrumental in the English Reformation and the dissolution of the monasteries. He was executed in 1540 on charges of treason and heresy, after falling out of favor with the monarch. Dipsophobia is the irrational fear of doing what? Drinking alcohol. Dipsophobia is the intense and irrational fear of drinking alcohol. This specific phobia can significantly impact an individual's social life and well-being, often stemming from past traumatic experiences or anxiety related to alcohol consumption. The world's first vacuum bottling factory was opened in which European country in 1804? France. The development of vacuum bottling in 1804 in France marked a significant advancement in food preservation. This innovation was pioneered by Nicolas Appert, who developed methods to seal food in airtight containers, thus extending its shelf life by preventing spoilage. What is the tradition in Greece and Cyprus in which people eat fasting foods, such as vegetables and seafood, on the first day of Lent? Green Monday or Clean Monday. Green Monday, also known as Clean Monday, marks the beginning of the Great Lent in Eastern Orthodox Christianity. It is a public holiday in Greece and Cyprus, characterized by outdoor activities and the consumption of Lenten foods, symbolizing spiritual and physical cleansing. The AK Party, the Justice and Development Party, is a political party in which country? Turkey. The Justice and Development Party, AK Party, is the largest political party in Turkey, founded in 2001. It has been the ruling party since 2002 and is led by current President Recep Tayyip Erdogan, playing a dominant role in Turkish politics and governance. In which year was the Bank of England entirely nationalized? 1946. The Bank of England was nationalised in 1946 by the Labour government under Prime Minister Clement Attlee, following World War II. This act reflected a broader trend of nationalisation of key industries and institutions in post-war Britain, aiming for greater state control over economic policy and financial stability. Apart from English, what is the official language of Pakistan? Urdu. Urdu is the national language of Pakistan and one of its two official languages, the other being English. It serves as a lingua franca among the country's diverse ethnic groups, playing a significant role in its cultural identity, literature, and media. Which computer company was founded in 1983 as Control Video Corporation? AOL. AOL, originally known as Control Video Corporation, CVC, was founded in 1983 and later rebranded as America Online. It rose to prominence as a pioneer in dial-up internet services in the 1990s, playing a significant role in popularizing the internet for home users and early online communication. The Philippines were named after which king of Spain? King Philip II. The Philippines were named Las Islas Filipinas in 1543 by Spanish explorer Rey López de Villalobos in honor of Philip II of Spain. This naming reflected the extensive Spanish colonization and the significant historical ties between the two regions, which lasted for over 3 centuries. Who made his "I am prepared to die" speech in 1964 at the opening of the Rivonia trial in South Africa? Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela's "I am prepared to die" speech was delivered during the Rivonia trial in 1964, where he and other anti-apartheid leaders were tried for sabotage. This powerful address articulated his unwavering commitment to the struggle for a democratic and free society, becoming a key moment in the fight against apartheid. In March 1975, which silent movie star was knighted by Queen Elizabeth II? Charlie Chaplin. Charlie Chaplin, a towering figure in cinematic history, was knighted by Queen Elizabeth II in March 1975. This honor recognized his immense contribution to the film industry and his profound global cultural impact as an actor, director, and composer. in the late 19th century, who brought a libel action against the Marquess of Queensberry who won a counterclaim? Oscar Wilde. Oscar Wilde, a renowned Irish poet and playwright, initiated a libel lawsuit against the Marquess of Queensberry in 1895, following accusations of homosexuality. The trial ultimately led to Wilde's own prosecution and conviction for gross indecency, marking a tragic turn in his life and a significant event in social history. How many ribs does a human have? 24. An adult human typically has 24 ribs, arranged in 12 pairs. These bones form the rib cage, which protects vital organs like the heart and lungs, and plays a crucial role in respiration. Which year saw the first space tourist, Dennis Tito, who paid a reported $20 million to board the International Space Station? 2001. Dennis Tito, an American businessman, became the world's first space tourist in 2001, paying an estimated $20 million to visit the International Space Station aboard a Russian Soyuz spacecraft. His journey marked a new era in private space travel, inspiring future commercial space ventures. What is the national plant of Ireland? Shamrock. The shamrock is the national plant and a widely recognized symbol of Ireland. It is a young sprig, usually of white clover, and according to legend, Saint Patrick used its 3 leaves to explain the Holy Trinity to the pagan Irish. What is the name of the male character in French pantomime who usually wears a loose white costume and a pointed hat and has a sad white painted face? Pierrot. Pierrot is a classic character from French pantomime, originating from the Commedia dell'arte. He is traditionally depicted as a sad clown in a loose white costume and pointed hat, often symbolizing unrequited love or melancholy in his theatrical portrayals. Swiss National Day is celebrated during which month of the year? August. Swiss National Day is celebrated annually on August 1st, commemorating the founding of the Swiss Confederation. This date marks the traditional alliance formed in 1291 by the 3 original cantons of Uri, Schwyz, and Unterwalden, leading to the establishment of modern Switzerland. Sam Walton founded which famous U.S. retail chain in 1962? Walmart. Sam Walton founded Walmart in 1962 in Rogers, Arkansas, revolutionizing the retail industry with a focus on low prices. Under his leadership, Walmart grew from a single discount store into one of the world's largest multinational retail corporations. Who was the only U.S. president not to be elected to office? Gerald Ford. Gerald Ford became the 38th President of the United States in 1974 following Richard Nixon's resignation, having been appointed Vice President after Spiro Agnew's resignation. He holds the unique distinction of being the only person to serve as both Vice President and President without being elected to either office. Which English author wrote the 1928 novel, Orlando, a biography? Virginia Woolf. Virginia Woolf, a prominent figure in the modernist movement, published Orlando, a biography, in 1928. This novel is notable for its exploration of gender, identity, and time, spanning several centuries through the life of its titular character, and is considered a feminist classic. In which year was the Oxford English Dictionary first published in 10 volumes? 1928. The first edition of the Oxford English Dictionary, initially known as A New English Dictionary on Historical Principles, began publication in parts in 1884. This monumental work, comprising 10 volumes in its initial complete release, was finalized and published in 1928, serving as a comprehensive historical record of the English language. King John of England was the youngest son of which English monarch? King Henry II. King John was the youngest son of King Henry II and Eleanor of Aquitaine. His reign, 1199 to 1216, is notably associated with the signing of Magna Carta in 1215, a foundational document for constitutional law and human rights. Egyptian Naguib Mahfouz was the first Arabic language writer to win which Nobel Prize? Literature. Naguib Mahfouz, a prominent Egyptian novelist, received the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1988 for his realistic and nuanced exploration of Egyptian society. He is widely considered one of the greatest Arabic writers of all time. Microphobia is the irrational fear of what? Small or microscopic things such as germs. Microphobia is defined as an excessive and irrational fear of small objects or microscopic entities, often including germs or dust. It is a specific type of phobia that can significantly impact an individual's daily life. In humans, which organ is affected by pericarditis? Heart. Pericarditis is an inflammation of the pericardium, the two-layered sac-like membrane that encloses the heart. This condition can lead to chest pain and other symptoms affecting the heart's function. What is the highest mountain in Australia? Mount Kosciuszko. Mount Kosciuszko is the highest peak on the Australian mainland, located in the Snowy Mountains of New South Wales. It stands at an elevation of 2,228 meters, 7,310 feet, above sea level. What are the colors on the national flag of Thailand? Red, white, blue. The national flag of Thailand, known as Tom Trarong, features 5 horizontal stripes. The colors red, white, and blue represent nation, religion, monarchy, respectively, which are the unofficial motto of Thailand. In May 1950, Saylal Bayar became the third president of which country? Turkey. Saylal Bayar served as the third president of Turkey from 1950 to 1960. He was a prominent figure in Turkish politics and a co-founder of the Democrat Party, which brought an end to one-party rule in the country. Who ascended to the British throne in January 1936? King Edward VIII. King Edward VIII became monarch of the United Kingdom and the dominions of the British Empire, and Emperor of India, on January 20, 1936, following the death of his father, King George V. His reign was short-lived, abdicating in December of the same year. What is the largest cell in the human body? The female ovum. The female ovum, or egg cell, is considered the largest cell in the human body, visible to the naked eye without magnification. Its size is crucial for containing all the necessary organelles and stored nutrients for early embryonic development. A bust of which British Prime Minister was reportedly removed from the White House and relocated to the British Embassy in Washington when Barack Obama took office? Winston Churchill. A bust of Winston Churchill, a gift from the UK, was in the Oval Office during George W. Bush's presidency. Its relocation to the British Embassy upon Barack Obama taking office in 2009 generated some public discussion about US-UK relations and presidential preferences in decor. In humans, steatopecia is a high degree of fat accumulation in and around which part of the body? Buttocks. Steatopecia is a genetic condition characterized by a significant accumulation of fat in the buttocks and thighs, primarily observed in certain indigenous populations like the Khoisan people of southern Africa. It is considered a secondary sexual characteristic. What type of creature is a manakin? Bird. A manakin is a small passerine bird, typically belonging to the family Estrellidae. These birds are often known for their social behavior and are commonly kept as aviary birds. Which chemical element is represented by, say, selenium? Selenium, say, is a chemical element with atomic number 34. It is a nonmetal with properties intermediate between sulfur and tellurium, and is essential for human health, found in various enzymes. In 1773, who became the first known person to cross the Antarctic Circle? Captain James Cook. Captain James Cook, a British explorer, achieved this feat on January 17, 1773, during his second voyage of discovery. His expedition, aboard HMS Resolution, was the first to circumnavigate the globe at high southern latitudes, dispelling the myth of a fertile southern continent. If a creature is lapidicalous, under what does it live? Stones. A lapidicalous organism refers to any creature that lives under stones or rocks. This term is used in ecology to describe a specific type of habitat preference, often found in invertebrates seeking shelter or stable microclimates. Which month in 1985 saw the Live Aid concert, organized by Bob Geldof? July. The Live Aid concerts, organized by Bob Geldof and Midgeo, took place on July 13, 1985. These dual-venue benefit concerts in London and Philadelphia aimed to raise funds for the famine in Ethiopia, becoming a landmark event in global humanitarian efforts. Ragfir is Welsh for which month of the year? December. Ragfir is the Welsh word for December. This linguistic fact highlights the diversity of languages and their unique vocabulary for common concepts such as months of the year. How many stations are on the London Underground Central Line? 49. The London Underground Central Line is one of the busiest lines on the network, currently comprising 49 stations. It serves as a vital transportation artery, connecting East and West London and playing a crucial role in the city's infrastructure. Which cheese is known as the King of English cheeses? Stilton. Stilton is a renowned English cheese, granted protected designation of origin, PDO, status. It is traditionally produced in Derbyshire, Leicestershire, and Nottinghamshire, and is celebrated for its distinctive rich, pungent flavor and characteristic blue veins. Mark Zuckerberg and Eduardo Saverin are two of the creators of which social networking service, launched in February 2004? Facebook. Facebook, launched in February 2004, was co-founded by Mark Zuckerberg, Eduardo Saverin, Andrew McCallum, Dustin Moskowitz, and Chris Hughes. It quickly grew from a college networking site into one of the world's largest and most influential social media platforms, fundamentally changing global communication and digital interaction. In which US city was the first skyscraper said to have been built in 1885? Chicago. The world's first skyscraper, the Home Insurance Building, was completed in Chicago in 1885. Designed by William Le Baron Jenny, it utilized a steel frame construction method, revolutionizing architectural engineering and paving the way for modern high-rise buildings. In which country is Dal Lake? India. Dal Lake is a prominent urban lake located in Srinagar, the summer capital of Jammu and Kashmir, India. It is integral to the region's tourism and economy, famous for its houseboats, shikaras, and floating gardens, often referred to as Srinagar's jewel, or jewel in the crown of Kashmir. In humans, the right lung is divided into how many lobes? 3. In humans, the right lung is anatomically divided into 3 distinct lobes, the superior, middle, and inferior lobes. This trilobe structure allows for efficient gaseous exchange and differentiates it from the left lung, which typically has only 2 lobes to accommodate the heart. The medical condition, gingivitis, affects which part of the body? Gums. Gingivitis is a common and mild form of gum disease, characterized by inflammation of the gingiva, the part of the gum around the base of the teeth. If left untreated, it can progress to more severe periodontal disease, potentially leading to tooth loss. What did English naturalist Charles Darwin study at Edinburgh University? Medicine. Charles Darwin, celebrated for his theory of evolution by natural selection, initially pursued medical studies at the University of Edinburgh in 1825. He later abandoned medicine, finding surgery distressing, and instead focused on natural history and theology, which laid the foundation for his revolutionary scientific contributions. Who became British Prime Minister in June 1935? Stanley Baldwin. Stanley Baldwin began his third and final term as British Prime Minister in June 1935, leading the Conservative Party. His premiership during the interwar period was marked by economic challenges and growing international tensions, culminating in the abdication crisis of Edward VIII. The Dukes of Beaufort are associated with which sport? Badminton. The sport of badminton takes its name from Badminton House, the country estate of the Duke of Beaufort in Gloucestershire, England. It was at this estate in the mid-19th century that the game, evolving from earlier battledore and shuttlecock traditions, was first played in its modern form. Who was the only British Prime Minister to receive a Nobel Prize for Literature? Winston Churchill. Winston Churchill, celebrated for his leadership during World War II, was awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1953. The prize recognized his mastery of historical and biographical description, alongside his powerful oratory in defending human values.